Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. 2025 is the year of being that girl, being that productive queen, and this video is going to tell you how to be the most productive version of yourself this year. I do just want to preface this video by saying I understand that productiveness is very subjective. It is very different for every person. Everyone has different circumstances, different goals, and as such, productiveness looks very different for all of us. But the aim of this video isn't to tell you how to be productive from my perspective. It is to give you tools about how to implement these things into your own life to be the most productive person that you can be. Not how I can be, not how the person sitting next to you can be, but how you can be the most productive version of yourself. So diving straight in, the first thing is setting your day up for success. Now, I'm not telling you that you need to get out of bed and go and run a marathon or like go and build a house or like sail a boat across the sea, but I am saying to set your day up for success by just doing the little things that make you feel productive in the morning. Doing little things in the morning such as making your bed, opening your curtains, opening your window. Little things like that make you feel so good. They give you a little dopamine, a little serotonin hit, and you just feel all of these good like endorphins in your body, and you get so excited for the day because you've already been so productive within like the first 5, 10, 20 minutes of your morning. I think the social media phenomenon, and I say this as someone who does YouTube and also works in social media for a living, I think sometimes it is a little bit blown out of proportion what we need to achieve in the morning. So like, don't feel the pressure to have to go for like a full marathon. Don't feel the pressure to have to build a house or sail across the sea. Just do these little things, like even if you had a cup of tea the night before and you're going to put the tea in the dishwasher, like that little thing is you being productive already in the morning. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It doesn't have to be like super grand. It's just little things that make you feel productive and set your day up for the most success possible. The second thing is creating a routine, and this is important for multiple reasons. The first reason being that routine reinforces behavior through repetition, and repetition happens a lot in our lives even if sometimes we don't realize it. For example, like when you're at school and you're doing maths equations, you do those over and over and over again to reinforce that idea and that behavior in your head until you like fully understand it and it just becomes like a natural reflex to do these things. There is a lot of psychology behind this, like neurons and synapses and all the things that are going on in your brain. But just to simplify it, basically what you're doing is you're repeating an activity. It is reinforced in your brain that this activity happens at this time every single day, and then it just becomes a part of a natural routine for you. This also may come in like the form of a to-do list, and while I don't encourage to-do lists the exact first thing in the morning when you wake up and get out of bed, because I do feel like that puts a lot of pressure on our brains, sometimes a to-do list for a routine can be really helpful because then you're ticking off all of these things and you're getting like instant gratification for doing something as simple as making your bed. The other thing with a to-do list is that it is creating a positive reinforcement, and a positive reinforcement is essentially doing an activity and then following it up with a reward. So in the sense of like training a dog, for example, when you teach a dog to sit and you give them a treat, they think that it's a really positive thing that they've sat because they have had the instant reward of said treat. So essentially what we're doing is the same thing, except obviously we're not dogs, we're people, and sometimes that's why a to-do list, even if it's not a physical one, even if it's a mental one, or just the routine of getting those things done, reinforces that positive behavior in our minds, and then we feel really good about the day as well, which further sets us up for that success that we were talking about before. So routine and success kind of go hand in hand, and they're like the perfect mishmash of productivity. The other thing with routine is that it removes decision fatigue, which is essentially just like we make so many decisions in a day that at the end of the day you just get tired from all of the decisions that you've made, and sometimes that is where impaired judgment comes in. So having a routine takes out the guesswork because you know what's coming next, and then you can save all of that brain power for the decisions that you have to make later in the day so that you're more productive as the day goes on. It's essentially like saving our mental energy for the other things in the day to just remain productive and get things done and have less like uncertainty around the things that we're doing. So those are like the physical things that we can do, but the next points are honestly my favorites because these are things that I personally like use the most in my real life, and they're a little bit more mental, but they just make you feel so much more freaking productive. The third thing is change your I have to's to I get to's. And you're probably like, what on earth does that mean? But hear me out. A lot of the time we say to ourselves, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. Oh, I have to make breakfast. Oh, I have to go and get the mail. Oh, I have to drive to work. But turn these things into I get tos and you'll find that you're a lot more grateful for the things that you're doing. And as such, these things don't feel as much like chores, but they feel like little rewards to yourself, and they make you just like move more fluidly throughout the day because you're holding grace essentially in the things that you're doing. And the more that you do this, the more it just snowballs and it turns into, oh, I get to have breakfast this morning and I can choose whatever I want. Oh, I get to go to work and I get to drive there and I get to listen to my music, and isn't that just so exciting? And it just puts like such a good feel aura around all of the things that would feel like a chore occasionally and that make you less productive because you go, oh, I have to go to work. Oh, I have to film my YouTube video today. No, I get to film my YouTube video today. And do you know how much I've been waiting to film? Because I'm just so excited for it because I get to do it. That simple mindset shift, and I know I say simple, sometimes obviously these things can take a little bit more and a little bit longer to reinforce, as we were talking about reinforcement before. However, once you have that mindset shift, everything changes. Everything changes. The fourth one is a little bit more of a tough love one, and that is that discipline is the highest form of self-love. I'm going to say that again. Discipline is the highest form of self-love. Now, I did hear this one somewhere and it just really, really stuck with me. And you're probably like, what on earth do you mean discipline is the highest form of self-love? Like, is this girl alright? But it is so serious, and often people misplace motivation versus discipline. Motivation is like, oh, I really want to go to the gym right now. So you go to the gym that day and you then say, okay, I really enjoyed that. I'm going to make a commitment to go to the gym tomorrow morning. You wake up, it's 5 a.m, you're going to go to the gym. It's cold outside, your bed's really warm, you can't be bothered. So you don't go. Instantly, your motivation is gone. This is where discipline steps in and is the highest form of self-love, because your motivation's gone. She said, see ya, we don't know who she is anymore. However, your discipline has showed up and you've said, you know what, I'm going to show up for myself. I'm going to get out of bed despite the fact that I don't particularly want to, and I'm going to get ready for the gym and I'm going to go because I know I'm going to feel good afterwards. And you're going to have to use this in a few different like assets of your life. Like in the mornings, I don't necessarily want to get up early to go to work, but I have to, you know what I mean? And it is that discipline. And I work from home, so if I start at 8:30, I could easily get up at 8 or I could get up at 7. I have to have that discipline to be able to get up at 7, because I do know that I could just roll over and go back to sleep and get up at 8. But no, having that discipline and getting up at 7 and setting up your day right is going to make your day feel so much better. Discipline is showing up when you don't want to. Discipline is doing things even though it feels like literally the last thing that you want to be doing in that moment. But discipline is the thing that is going to make you the most productive, and leaning into your discipline and rewarding it by doing these things and creating these patterns and getting productive is what is going to get you there. I have come to a loss so many times because I've only relied on motivation. For example, I had all of these amazing ideas last year of these like hobbies that I wanted to do. For example, like I wanted to paint bookends, and I had the motivation and I went out one day and I bought paint, and that paint has sat in my room for 7 months untouched because I did not have the discipline to follow through with the initial motivation that I had, because I got the instant gratification from buying the paints and then the motivation went away, and now I just have these paints sat in my room. And they're gorgeous paints, by the way. Like I probably really should use those, but I didn't have that discipline. Obviously since then my discipline has increased and I am more disciplined in the other things that I do. That was just one of those kind of things that I was like, yep, see ya, and I just never looked back. But now I have discipline in the sense that I'm like, okay, well, I know that I have to be at work by this time, so I'm gonna get up at this time so that I can do all of these things in the morning and then I show up at work. So discipline is the highest form of self-love. And showing yourself that discipline and showing yourself that love is going to make you so much more successful in being productive. The sun is slowly going behind the clouds and the lighting is changing. However, the fifth and second to last thing is show up for yourself the same way that you would show up for your best friend. Now you might hear this and be like, yeah, but that's different, that's my best friend. But it's no different. You should be your own best friend. If your best friend called you and said, hey babe, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow at 4 p.m. I really need a ride because they're going to do ABC and I can't drive home, you will show up. So why is it any different for yourself? If your friend calls you and says, hey, I want to go to the gym tomorrow, do you want to come with me 8 a.m? You're going to show up at 8 a.m. So why, when you're going by yourself, are you not showing up for yourself? Treat yourself as your best friend. Be there. Show up for yourself the same way that you would show up for the other people in your life, because you are the most important person in your life. You might love your best friend, your family, your partner, whoever they are, so dearly. But if you're not showing up for yourself, how can you show up for them? It is the same as like treating yourself like your inner child, and I know that is used as an example a lot, and I personally use it for myself too, but sometimes it's a little bit different because you're so removed from your childhood self. For me, when I think of my inner child, there's this particular picture I see in my mind, and I was about 3 years old. I'm about to be 25, so obviously I'm so different from that person that I was. But if you think of it as your best friend, who is likely going to be somewhat similar in age to you, somewhat similar in interests, etc, etc, they are literally like, they're like another version of you. I know my best friend is like another version of me. We are very similar to each other, and I know I would always show up for her, so why wouldn't I show up for myself? I need to treat myself with the same respect that I would treat my best friend. The final thing is to know when rest is important, because burnout is a really real thing. Burnout is a very real thing, and I think there's a very big toxic productivity thing going on right now where you're expected to be productive 100% of the time. And obviously being productive is great, but know your limits, know when you're going to burn out, know that it is okay to rest and relax, because if you don't, you're going to be even less productive than you were before. And you're probably like, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm going to be less productive? I'm obviously not doing anything in that moment where I'm resting, so how am I less productive? And the reason being is because when you get burnt out, you can't do anything because you're just so exhausted. So by preserving your energy and knowing when you need rest and being productive in the other times when you know that you can be productive, you're actually going to be more productive overall. If I just go, I'm going to burn out and I'm going to be like out for the count for a week. And then if you add up the hours being out for a week versus having 1 hour of non-productivity, 1 to 2 hours a day, you kind of see the difference there. But in all of this, make sure you're being productive for you. Don't do it for somebody else, do it for you. Show up for yourself, be the best version of yourself that you can be. And I really hope that you were able to take something away from this video. Personally, I really hope that it's the I don't have to, I get to, because that is my favorite, and I feel like that mindset shift is so powerful. But whatever it is, I hope that you're able to take something away from this video and that you can be the most productive version of yourself this year. And I just can't wait to see you all blossom. It's so exciting. 2025, guys. I keep saying this and I'm going to keep saying it. It is the year. It is the year. We are rapidly losing sunlight now, so I'm going to wrap this one up. If you got all the way to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Please give this a thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below. Let's have a little bit of a chat. I love a little bit of a chat in the comments. It's my favorite thing. But yeah, thank you for watching. I love you very much. I can't wait to see how productive you're gonna be, and I will see you in the next one.